All right, we live. Let me look on this end and see what it says. Go back here. All right, welcome to another episode of the Griots Podcast, Season 4, Episode 5. I'll let my beautiful sister intro. No, we'll come back. I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll be right back. Ooh.
I'm in the city, yeah. I'm in the spot, in the vicinity. I'm the hottest up in the city, yeah, it really is. I studied the ones that was the realest, the illest, that invented that. Talking about Griots, West African passages for the street stone. Adios mio, make it get about the Afro-Latino. Who fought their traditions from Africa's West Central. Let's raise a toast to the ancestors of old. For the knowledge comes in the form of a griot. In the form of a griot.
Go Clio. Hey man, you know what's funny? It has been years of the intro. You would think I would know all the words to it by now, and I don't. It's crazy. Every month I try.
You be on it though, Sean P. You be on it, man.
Every month I made who made this who the brother is made the song. He did a good job with the song, bro.
Yeah,
He did an amazing job with the song. Whoever that is.
Ibaka the Conqueror. Yeah. Shout out to Ibaka Conqueror. He's
Well,
out
he
there
conquered
on
that
the
one.
West Coast. Yeah, he's a dope artist. But yeah, I
Yeah,
got
he
ahead
is.
of
He dope.
myself
He got
a while
both. He
ago.
got both.
Welcome again. I got ahead of myself, but welcome to another episode of the Griots Podcast, Season 4. We on episode 5. So as we normally do, we introduced ourselves. So we'll let the ladies go first, and then we'll each introduce ourselves.
Hey, yo, what up, good and wonderful people? How y'all doing out there? My name is Dr. Ashley Wade. I am a pharmacist. I'm an author. I'm a community and literacy advocate. I love being outside, tapping in with the people, growing with the people, engaging with the people. I'm a book club curator. Let's see what else. I am the chief executive of a silly magazine. Shout out to the squad. Shout out to the people. And I'm going to do like my co-hosts do. This is what makes them so great. They're saying, and a host of other things. So that's how I'm going to a host of other things, a plethora of other things. Peace.
Ladarius.
What's up, everybody? My name is Ladarius. I'm a father of 2 beautiful kids. I'm a lifelong learner, a motion designer, a reader, or co-host of this podcast, and amongst other things. And I'm excited about today's I'm excited about today's topic as well.
No doubt.
Yeah. It's your man Sean P coming in live. I'm the host of the Sean P Experience. 15 times and counting. Self-published author, community advocate, public speaker, instructor, a scholar, amongst other things. And second of all, able to throw the alley hoop to my good brother, the Red Ranger up here, my man Kofi. Take it away.
Yeah, peace and power, everybody. I'm Kofi Piche. I'm a self-published author. I'm an editor. I'm a founder of Silly Magazine. I'm a videography. I'm a photographer. I'm a music musician. I'm a public speaker. Man, amongst other things, amongst 1,000 other different things. So as we so again, y'all, as y'all get into the chat, please, we want to put y'all up on the screen. So shout us out, you know what I'm saying? And then through the course of this conversation, if y'all appreciate the conversation, please let us know that y'all appreciate the conversation. If y'all want to chime in, please chime in and we'll put your words on the screen and we'll answer your question in real time. Okay. So I'm gonna turn it over to my brother, my fellow griot, Sean, and he's gonna do the opening segment.
All right, peace, man. So for every episode, I try to find something that fit the theme of the episode, every opening segment. So this time, I thought it'd be only right, man. I'm honoring the ancestor, Eric Jerome Dickey. He is the one author that got me into reading books. When I was in the military, 18 years old, an OG on the ship, put me on to reading books. Right before that, I was a reluctant reader. I never did like reading books in school and stuff like that. But as a grown man, 18, 19 years old, man, Eric Jerome Dickey opened my eyes and my mind to the world of how many places that books could take you. But more than any of that, it made me get the spark. Like, you know what? I wonder if I can write as well. So I owe books to him and writing to him. Here we go. New York Times best-selling American author, celebrated for his vibrant, nuanced portrayals of contemporary Black life. A career spanning a quarter of a century. I had no idea it was that long. He published 29 novels, blending romance, erotica, suspense, crime thriller, comics, and many, many more, while selling more than 7 million copies worldwide. That's crazy. His debut novel, Sister, published in 1996. I was a high school freshman in 96. Essence Magazine later named it one of the 50 most impactful Black books of the last 50 years. I'm going to skip on down to, he transitioned later into a darker, grittier international crime fiction, including the popular series Gideon the Assassin. I highly advise that series. It's fire. You love crime thriller? Check out this Gideon series. He also, in 2006, he did a 6-issue series of the Black Panther, nominated for NAACP Image Award multiple times, outstanding literary work, all while honoring in 2015 for his novel, A Wanted Woman. He passed away from cancer in Los Angeles at 59 years old, man. That's still young, relatively, to the demon of cancer, man. I hate that for people. Cancer is a beast, man. But salute, shout out to the ancestor, Eric Jerome Dickey. If you have not read him, put everything down, read him.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. I just learned something new here. That's what I like about this podcast. You know what I'm saying? We always learning from each other, man, on this podcast. So the next is, and we gonna get into it, y'all. For those who may be new or watch this later on the archives for the first time, we have segments that we have to go through before we get into the discussion. So the next segment is the Griot and Griot segment, Griots segment. Those who may not know what a griot is or what a griot is, right? So we always have to break that down, right? So what is a griot or griot? Unique to West Africa. A griot, a jolly professional, encompasses many roles. A griotis have been referred, or grioti has been referred as historians or storytellers, but there is no real word in the English language that includes all of their functions. A traditional griot or grioti could do everything from recounting history to composing music to teaching students to acting as a diplomat. They are genealogists, historians, spokespersons, ambassadors, musicians, teachers, warriors, interpreters, praise singers, masters of ceremonies, and advisors, negotiators, and mediators. Not all griot or griotis does all of these things, but these are all examples of functions of a griot or griotis professional embodies. So they have many roles. A lot of us only, if we heard of a griot, we only hear one thing, that they are storytellers. You know, that is one of the most popular things when we ask what is a griot, and that is some of the most popular things when you're reading. They're only giving you one attribute of what a griot or griotis, but they have many roles, they have many functions, but they all do not operate in all of those functions at one time. So there is the griot, griotis and griots segment. So now I'll pass it over to our beloved brother Ladarius for the Black Invention segment.
So for today's Black Inventions segment, we are highlighting, well, I'm highlighting Dr. Patricia Bath. She was a pioneering physician, inventor, and advocate whose work restored sight to thousands and transformed the field of ophthalmology. Born on November 4th, 1942 in New York City, Beth dedicated her career to combating blindness and expanding access to eye care. After earning her medical degree from Howard and completing advanced training at New York University and Columbia University, she broke barriers as the first Black woman to complete an ophthalmology residency at NYU and the first woman to chair an ophthalmology residency program in the US. In 1988, Dr. Bath became the first Black woman physician to receive a US medical patent for her invention of the laser phaco probe, a revolutionary device that used laser technology to remove cataracts with greater precision and less invasiveness. Her invention helped restore vision to people who had been blind for years and advanced cataract treatment around the world. Beyond her inventions, Bath championed health equity by founding the field of community ophthalmology, recognizing that many cases of blindness were preventable with proper access to care. Her legacy is one of innovation, service, and justice, proving that science and compassion can work together to change lives.
All right. Shout out to the sister.
I'm so glad to know about her. I have a homegirl that's getting ready to have eye surgery. She has some type of condition. So I couldn't wait to be like, check out Dr. Bath, you know. So I'm just like in real time. So I appreciate that information. Dr. Patricia Bath.
Yes. Take notes, y'all. Take notes. I'm gonna run this back for people who may not know who this sister is or who the brother is that Sean gave earlier. Again, like I said, this is a information podcast. This is a literary podcast. So we always dropping information and we learning from each other, like I say, in real time. So not only that the viewers are listening and watching as you learning, we're also learning at the same time on the panel, which makes this a dope experience for me. I can only speak for myself. This podcast for me, every episode that we do is always a dope experience for me because I'm always learning something new that I didn't know a few hours ago before the podcast. So the next discussion is what everybody is here for, what we're here for. So today we're going to be having a discussion, right? We're going to be having a discussion around how authors, literature, and knowledge transformed all of our lives. Everybody on this panel is a bookhead, you know what I'm saying? They are avid readers, you know what I'm saying, and like to share with others what they have read. We also are all writers on this panel as well, and we are all individuals who like to convey information in different and various ways. So I'll start off. Sean already answered, and we're gonna be asking each other questions. And like I said, for those who's listening and watching, you can chime in too if you like to chime in. If there's something that crossed your mind during the conversation that you want to ask all of us, you want to ask one of us, you know what I'm saying? Feel free to ask. And if you want to call in, dial 601-695-5797, and we'll
Wait a minute.
let you answer with the.
We got to call it though.
We got the hotline. Come on,
We didn't have a
like a radio station or something. You said call it. Wait a minute. In 4 seasons, we got
we didn't have them every season. I ain't got to plug it into my road because I got a thing for the phone.
Okay, I know you got the
phone, and but I ain't got the plug. But if they call in, we put it right here, and so we good.
He got the bad phone. The bad phone.
So
it's in there. I know the plug. He got the plug. Yeah. The plug, Kobe, man.
All right. So my question, my question is for all of y'all. Did reading exist in your household growing up? It don't matter.
Go ahead, doctor. You don't only lady here. Only lady.
I'm trying to. Well, My mother read some books, so there were mostly like mystery books. She wasn't like a putting them back like we be putting them back, but there were books in the house. There were books in the house, mostly like mystery fiction, and that was my first love, mystery books. I'm trying to think of a particular author, but you know them old school. It's not the books, the newer books. It's the paperback books that's about 200-300 pages. Those was in the house. And then plus, I was really into like the Babysitters Club back then. Like, I was a pretty avid reader. So books was in the house, but that I think the inspiration for me to read came from like some type of internal thing. I was always interested in reading books, but they was in the house. Not on a shelf, you know how we be putting them back, but it was in the house.
Okay. What about you, Ladarius? Did reading exist in your household growing up?
Yes. So I think we should expand it a little bit. We should say it's not necessarily in the house, but my mother was gun hold on taking us to the library. And then, back when I was growing up, we had reading programs where the local library had a reading program. You read this amount of books, you get a prize. That same thing in schools. You read this amount of book, you go to a pizza party.
Yes, sir. Pizza Hut. We're going to Pizza Hut, baby.
That personal pan pizza, gotta have it.
Man, let me get that. I think it tastes so good.
Yeah.
For Zola's, everything. So it did exist, but we didn't have a library in the house. We had a local library bag full of books, and then we take them back when we finish. But as far as in the house, like books, no. But we was reading. So
no doubt. For me, man, we go ahead, Sean. I'll close it out. Go ahead.
No, what I was gonna say was in my household, man. So growing up in my household, we got my grandfather who's a pastor, my grandmother who's a 40-year educator, my mother who was a librarian before I was even born, and then my Aunt Sharon, they all went to college and everything. So imagine my household, even in the bathroom, it was bookshelves and encyclopedia, Britannica, dictionaries. My grandfather, religious dictionaries and complimentary books. Like it was books on the floor, on the walls, there was books everywhere. And me and my little ignorant self is high stepping over all of that. Like, man, if you get past this right quick, I'm gonna get this ball. I'm gonna play with this ball, man. So I mean, the question about it being in your house, was it there? Of course, but like I wasn't willing to pick it up. And like he said, man, my family was big on every summer. Me and my little cousin in the library all day. 5-6 hours a day in the summertime with the library programs. They had different programs and shows and different things to incorporate us. And I was just like this oblivious to all of it. I'm bored as hell. I'm ready to go. Like I hated it, bro. Like I'm not going to explain how much I hated reading and I hated school compared to where I am now. It makes like no sense. How much like a total 180. Everything is shifted. It's crazy, bro. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. For me, I was raised by my grandma and my grandfather. So like the experience like you had, Sean, with far as the experience that you had, like far as books being in the bathroom. So my grandma used to have a little rack when you walk in the bathroom on the wall. So while you sitting on the toilet you're handling your business, you can pick up a magazine, you can pick up a book. And we didn't have a whole bunch of books in my grandmother's house. But we had encyclopedias for days. There was encyclopedias for days in the household. But my grandmother and grandfather, they never did like, push us for as this is what you should be doing. You should be reading. You should be expanding your knowledge. You should be expanding your vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? In school, I didn't like to read. I really didn't like to read. So I wasn't one of those kids that had won the award. You know what I'm saying? That won the award and got the personal pan pizza. I was the one that was hating on the person that got the personal pan pizza. You know what I'm saying? For eating. But I do remember my grandmother, we used to have these, I forgot what they call them, might have been books, something they called them, but we would go to the school libraries and your parents give you some money and you can buy stuff in the library. You can buy lit books and pamphlets. So we did buy, she did give us money to buy books and pamphlets. So we will buy something, you know what I'm saying, at this time. We were just happy to have some money, me and my brother and my cousin at that time. We were just happy to have some money and spend the money. So we spun the money in the library, but, you know, we never did just, you know, really pick up the book and read. And then once I got more into like poetry, and then I got into doing music, and then actually getting in the studio when I was in junior high and high school, I picked up a habit of reading a little bit, but that was the Murder Dog magazine. I don't really call that me. That was the Source magazine. That was the Vibe magazine, because I wanted to keep up with what was the latest, you know what I'm saying, music coming out, and the music that's already out, or who produced it, who engineered it, who mixed it, you know what I'm saying, the write-up on the person. So that was far as reading, was those different magazines. So I didn't like to read, and like you said, Sean, I did a full turn, and we'll get into that because I want to talk about some of the books that actually changed our lives and influenced us, you know what I'm saying, and some of the people who actually influenced us to push us, you know what I'm saying, to becoming avid readers. But that was my story, you know.
Can I piggyback for the next question off of what you just said about the magazine thing? Well, Ladarius got some. Go ahead, Ladarius. I'll wait.
So my question for you, Sean, my question is, you said you were surrounded by books all in the bathroom, everywhere, and you was like disinterested. So how does your environment play a role? Like, so I have 2 kids, right? And I have books everywhere. I got books in the bathroom, books in the kitchen, books everywhere. So I'm just trying to get at, like, how does somebody like not like to read and you surrounded by it? You see what I'm saying? Or vice versa.
The answer is,
doesn't have books in the house, but they love to read in the library every day. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
the answer is, first of all, for those that don't know me at all besides this, I'm a very active person by nature. I'm a very physical person. So I want to be out there on that slab with that basketball, man, more than anything. So to me, nothing in those books was going to satisfy that thing I had in my heart to be out there and be physical and you know, out there sweating, and you bumping people, getting bumped, making contact, whatever. Like, that was such a high for me. It took me a long time to find the same dopamine release for books. When I realized, wow, you mean when I finish a book, I feel the same way I feel making a jump shot? You mean when I finish a certain a writing assignment, I feel the same way as making a certain pass in the game, and I get a block in the game and the crowd go crazy? I feel like that for this. When it started connecting like that, then it started getting my interest to kick up, because I found myself in it. So many books when I was going to school back in 26 years ago, you know, I graduated 26 years ago. I didn't really see us in those books. And they have so many good young adult writers now, where the books they got now, I wish I had those books in junior high. I wish I had those books in high school. Jason Reynolds and Nick Stone and these other writers right now writing amazing books. And, you know, they're writing like it's hip hop. The writing novels in verse and all that. Like, I love seeing that now. Even as a grown man, I love reading those books. So that's part of that, man.
Go ahead, Sean. You wanted to piggyback off of you said the question.
So my question for the whole panel is, I did a podcast days ago with an author, right? And I talked about this plenty of times before. We were big on magazines, you said, Kofi, XXL, Source, Ebony, Jet, Essence, you name it. So I would call myself a non-reader, right? But that was incorrect. I was reading the whole time. It wasn't novel. But I was still reading the writing of scholars. I was still reading some of our best journalists in Sports Illustrated, whatever. So my question to the panel is, the death of magazines in today's time, what is the penalty of that, you think? As far as today's youth, today's reluctant readers, they're not even going to the magazine. At least I was going to the magazine. They ain't even doing that.
Well, I wasn't really a magazine reader. So let me just provide some clarification. So when I was younger, right, in school, we had the thing called Success Maker. go to the library, pick out a book, and then you go in there and you take a 10-question test. Depending on what grade you get points. And then at the end of the year, if you got a certain amount of points, you get to go to this ice cream party or this or that. So that kind of like conditioned me to read short books, like books on animals or some bull, like some Captain Underpants or something like that. I'll go and read that. Take the test. Boom, I'm finished. I wasn't really consuming knowledge, if you will, but I was reading, but I wasn't benefiting from the reading, if that makes sense. So I can kind of see how that's a problem when you incentivize reading in that way. If you read this amount, take a test, you get this, but you don't get to apply the information that you're reading. So
I mean,
as far as magazines, I look at all them words on that magazine. I ain't reading that. That's too long. That's too long. Not reading it. Nope. Big chapter books. Nope. Harry Potter books. Nope. No Harry Potter books were thick. When I was in elementary school, I ain't reading all that, bro. I'm not reading all that. So.
And it's probably because we old heads, we remember that time when it was like magazines was popping. Magazines were in the bathroom, for the record. But I'm like, I'm behind. I got to catch up. I need a bookshelf in the bathroom. Why didn't I think of that? All the elders was like, we've been on game. But I think magazines, the death of magazines is a big deal because at least there were words that would catch our attention in the checkout lines. Like now, people shun words. Like, what word? Too many words? Just show me a video. So at least there were like words or pictures or something. And it may just be, a person with goals. And then like, oh, they got a gold grill. I want the magazine, or I want to see what they said. So it would just be like attention things, and it would be cultural things for the most part that we could see. It would grab our attention. And even if we couldn't get the magazine, we at least, picked it up in the checkout line. Or, and two, I think it helps with the imagery. When we had Jet, when we had Ebony, we couldn't wait to hit the swimsuit lady with the swimsuit book.
Come on, man. Come on, man. The Black Beauty.
I guess I was the only one. Okay, go ahead, Sean P.
No one what? Man, stop playing with me.
What? We couldn't wait. What do you mean? So, but it's still, at least, even if there wasn't a lot of reading, it was the image. It was the imagery. So, what you said, Sean? Never mind. Sean said it was the same.
I said page 46. I'm being funny.
I know, I'm just catching up, man. But there was a time.
As a young boy, you did like look at imagery in the magazines.
Well, I want to add something else too on the reading tip, right? But we had cassette tapes, and even with the CDs, though, you can actually open the jacket and pull out the actual lyrics. So again, even though I'm not reading books, I'm reading Tupac Shakur lyrics. I'm reading TLC lyrics. So we see this is true. A later conversation, right? But you're getting sight words. I'm seeing Tupac Shakur talking about telekinesis. I'm seeing, a rap phenomenon, Big and Smalls. I'm seeing Method Man, Wu-Tang Clan saying certain words. I'm still seeing vocabulary words, even though it's hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But they're not even doing that.
Yeah, I think the death to the magazines, it comes from access. We have access is granted now. We have too much access. Like we would see people, and I'll speak for me. Like I can remember going, I don't know if y'all remember or y'all even had it in y'all area, but Sack and Save was big back in the day. Sack and Save was a place you go and you get groceries. Sean, you probably know about Sack and Save.
Is it like Piggly Wiggly? That's like down south store. Piggly Wiggly.
Yes, it's kind of like a Piggly Wiggly, right? So we would go up in there, and when you start getting toward the front to check out, this is where all the magazines will be at. This was where the Source would be at. This is where the Vibe magazine will be at. This is where the Murder Dog. This is where Ebony magazine will be at. Jet, etc. This is where you be at when you're getting ready to check. So as we're walking by, you looking, they got nothing but magazines. Even in the checkout aisle, they had magazines right there, and something will catch our eye, or and we didn't have access to these people. And I'm speaking for myself. So if I seen something where I had, let's just say Breadman was on the magazine, and I'm seeing he's on the front of the Source magazine. And there we notice a big write-up in the magazine. So I don't have access to them because the internet wasn't here. Cell phones, smartphones wasn't here. So we didn't have the access. So it had my curiosity. So the only way that I was going to be able to learn about Redman, his new album, who mixed this album, where he come from, or et cetera, was I had to read it. So I had to buy the magazine in order to read it, right? And as I read it, I was enjoying it because now I'm learning about somebody that I may admire, somebody that I've taken a liking in, somebody that I may want to see what he did to get to where he at, to take those steps. So I had to be able to read. So the magazines was that for me. So the depth of the magazines, it comes from, it's too much access. We don't have to read anything now. We can go straight to our smartphones. We can go to the internet and we can get instant access to whatever it is that we want to right away. And then a lot of times now we can go straight to YouTube because there wasn't YouTube. So we can look straight at a video right there. It's something, you type something in, or even if you Google something, it's always going to pull up information, but it has a video attached to it where you can click a video and go to it. So now it has the internet has in this instant access point, it has dimming us from reading material. We no longer want to read. We want to either listen to it or we want to see it, right? We want to look at it or we want to see it. At one point, we wanted to look at it, but we also, we wanted to read it, or we wouldn't know about it if we didn't read it. So we had to read it because we had limited access. Now it's just too much access. And so that has caused that's one thing that has caused that. But also another thing is, like, we're living in a day where, we living in a capitalistic society, and we living in a society just greedy, right? So we living in a society just always, everything now is being price gouged. So it's even those who were putting those magazines out can't afford the magazines anymore because the glue costs too much. The paper costs too much. The color ink costs too much. The cartridges cost too much. So everything is at a high demand. So it makes it unaffordable. It doesn't make business sense to continue to put these things out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not making a profit of it. I'm not making a profit off of it. You know what I'm saying? So, those are some of the things, you know what I'm saying? Price gouging and too much access, in my opinion.
Dr. Wade is on you. We all had a question already. It's your turn.
I got you. I'm trying to see who saw somebody reading the paper growing up. Like, people don't even get the newspaper.
Me.
You know what I'm saying?
My grandfather had about 6 papers coming to the house. 6. On a daily basis, we had a mailbox and a newspaper box.
Yep.
That thing was full every day.
Yep.
My uncle,
they used to throw them in our yard.
Puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
He used to do the crossword puzzles every morning. He would have his Frosted Flakes, and he's the only person I ever know in my life who would fill out a whole crossword puzzle.
He put sugar in his Frosted Flakes.
This is before phones. This is before.
Come on, Kobe. God do that. God do
You
that.
see what I'm saying? Let me just fill this out. He's the only person I know. Every week he going to the crossword puzzle and he filling it out. It's like, well, I was just always intrigued by even just that part. So at least even in the newspapers, you had other challenges. So tell me about that experience with y'all, like newspapers.
Well, I want to say something to answer Ladarius, right? Because I was a reluctant reader around that. I think it was super important for me in my subconscious to see my grandfather on the edge of the bed every day with that paper, with that Bible, because so many folks that I know have never seen a grown man sitting down reading something. They've never seen it. So my daddy and my grandfather, these two monumental guys in my life, they always were reading. If my grandfather really, really couldn't see at all anymore, he was still in front of that Bible every day. Still in front of that paper, still in front of, that's what I saw. So when I came around to reading, it was just so natural to me as a man to do that. But like so many young men growing up, they've never seen a man sitting down with a book. And now, when I am out in public with a book, a person gonna assume I'm in college. Like I can't be leisurely at Buffalo Wild Wings with a book just reading because they never saw it. It gotta be for something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's definitely. I've seen it. It's still here. I think it's still here. I know the building is still here. I know I don't see them as much, but we used to have the Daily Leader paper. So the Daily Leader paper, you subscribe to the Daily Leader paper, and they would have people get up, they go get the paper, and they get on their paper route. So we will get a paper every day from the Daily Leader. And then, like I said, as I mentioned, as we will go to a Sack and Save with my grandmother, or even we would go to Walmart before it became the Super Walmart. We had, before the Super Walmart, you had just a regular Walmart. And even going into the regular Walmart, just even going in the regular Walmart or going into the Sack and Save, there was a thing, you put your quarter in there, you pop it, and you get your newspaper. So every time we would pass those, my grandmother would put a quarter in there and get a newspaper out of there and go in there. You know what I mean? They still got the thing. I didn't know they still had the list. I don't know what you call them that they put the newspapers in, but I remember those things growing up. And my grandfather,
I wish they had one.
Yeah, you see, I ain't seen none of them things in years. So my grandfather would read those papers, and like you said, your uncle, he would fool with the crossword puzzles in there. You know what I'm saying? And my grandmother would read the newspapers. She said,
what else too, family? I want to always share with the crowd, right? I don't want to hold time, but I make it a tradition. When I finish reading the paper, I never throw it away. I leave it wherever I am, so somebody else has access to it. It could be in the waiting room at the hospital. It could be at a laundromat. It could be anywhere. Wherever I am when I finish it, I fold it and I put it down where it is. Because I read in the book about the old the Pullman porters on the train. They would collect papers off the train and bring it back to the small little rural Black communities. They go to the back of the train and wrap it up with some string, and then throw it in the back of the train. And that's how the word spread across the country was going on in different parts of the country. They were doing it on the train like that. So I caught a hold of that 5-6 years ago. Ever since then, wherever I am, I put the paper down. I'll give it away anywhere I go. Just that tradition, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I'm feeling bad. I remember this was the phase when I wasn't reading. So I had a detail shop. I had a detail shop and a mobile detail shop. I wasn't reading yet. And prior to getting the mobile detail shop and then in the mobile, I would take newspapers. I would buy the newspaper, but wouldn't read them. I would take the newspapers and clean the windows with the newspaper. That was the best way to clean the window. I swear.
I know what you mean, but come on, man.
That was the
I know what you mean. Like a newspaper, though. I can't even hold you.
Spray it on there, and man, that was the best. I
you
said the
little one ad station, or the one ads, or the other kind of ads.
I was ripping the whole newspaper up and spray it on there and front page and clean the windows with them. Because they clean them windows. I'm talking about clean them. So I feel bad now. I just thought about that. I did that for a long time. Would buy them, wouldn't read them, and use them to clean windows when I was detailing folks' cars.
Before we move on to Dr. Wade's question, support the Black press. Find you some Black newspapers, man. Dr. Wade helped me out. Dr. Wade out there in Dallas helped me out a lot. She always put me on game. Final Call, Nation of Islam. It's a lot of Black papers that still exist right now. Just take the time to go and look them up and subscribe to the Black paper if you can.
Yes, most definitely.
Okay, now I'm trying to get into some literature for real. I know let's tap into some literature. And there's a question that I want to ask to the chat. Because we deep people. And so I'm sure people are like, okay, they want to know how we got our knowledge, all that. So we're gonna tap into that. But I want to know what books disturbed you. Like what was like one or two books that disturbed you, and however, you can finish that out and it made you feel blah, blah, blah. But what disturbed you? What books disturbed you for real?
I got an answer.
Yeah.
Medical apartheid highly disturbed me. And I I find myself always going back to medical apartheid because something always happened in the media or pop culture where it's like, man, she said this X amount of years ago. Whenever COVID-19 came around, with the medical apartheid, whenever all the vaccines came around, with the medical apartheid, whenever certain things was happening, medical apartheid, like she broke down so much in that book, it was highly disturbing, but it was very eye-opening for me for all the parts of these different institutions. I'll put it like that.
Yeah,
This is facts. And even now they're talking about the RSV vaccine. There was an issue, like it's really affecting kids negatively now. Like it had to do with some type of testing. So I'm like, boom. To your point, medical apartheid. Going back to that. I want to share this book right here. The Underground Empire. It's one that I took all the way. This is before all my annotations. This is that. This is pre that. You know what I'm saying? And I've been able to keep this book for
She a little thick.
It's okay. It's called The Underground Empire, Where Crime and Governments Embrace. So this book really was just like, oh, because we like to think we can suggest certain things. They probably in so and so pocket. They probably paid so and so. Da da da. So, but this book really kind of opened my eyes to like how involved the government and crime are together. You know what I'm saying? So it really disturbed me. This one is one, and I always keep it out so people can see it, because I'm like, if you tap into this, it's gonna open a whole new world. And then also Dope Fiend by Donald Goines. I was like, what be going on in the dope house? What be going on in the trap house? So I mean,
yeah, Donald Goines, man. Donald Goines, OG.
Man.
Iceberg Slim, all that.
Man, listen. So these two books would disturb me, but I'm curious. I concur with you, Sean P.
Yeah, my two is okay. So, and we'll probably get into that because I want to talk about some of our favorite books that changed our lives. So, and once people know about some of the books that I've read, they'll understand my perspective and my studies, right? So, I'm heavy into African culture, right, and traditions. So this book. So, all right. So, a lot of things, if you want to learn about West African culture at a particular time, they were written by Arabs, right? So, two books in particular. This book is The History of West Africa. It's a thick book. The History of West Africa, Volume 1, and 1,000 Years of West African History, right? So these books disturb me, and there's other books that disturb me because you're getting a perspective from an Arab, right? So these Arabs are describing our ancestors, describing our people in a horrendous way. Not getting the story right, not understanding their way of life, and mixing things up with their perspective, their belief in Islam, whichever perspective of Islam, whether they are Sunni or Shiite, Muslim. So these books for me was disturbing because I'm trying to get through all of this negative garbage about our ancestors that they're telling from their perspective, or what they think that they know that they don't know. You know what I'm saying? So but there's some good books to learn when you're trying to understand West Africa, some of the things that happen in West Africa and the things that the Arab did, because we always talk about the Atlantic Coast slave trade, but we never talk about the Sahara of the Barbary Coast slave trade with the Arabs, right? We give them a pass, but we won't we go hard on the European, but we don't go hard on the Arab, you know what I'm saying, for what they did, you know what I'm saying, doing their slave trade, because they also had a slave trade. Go look it up, the Sahara Coast of the Barbary Coast slave trade, and you will see some of the horrendous things that they did, to our people, you know what I'm saying, and the things that they did not understand about our people. So those were two of the books for me.
I guess for me, I think there's also a difference between like reading for leisure and like reading for learning. So like when I look at when I was reading the elementary school, of course we had to read. We was in school, we had to read. You had to read this to take the test, da 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 da. But then you got when you at home by yourself, what are you reading in your leisure time? So I started reading for leisurely 6 years ago. So I read this book by Dr. Naim Akbar called Know Thyself. Mm-hmm. The most disturbing thing for me was recognizing my own miseducation. Right? So on reading the book, he's talking about education as a power for self-transformation. And I'm like, when you look, so white history is incorporated into every subject in school, right? So I'm reading the book and I'm thinking back to when I was in school. Okay, in English class, we started with the first piece of literature in white history, which is the Homer, the Odyssey, the Iliad, all that. Then in math class, you're talking about Pythagoras and all of that.
Pythagoras, Dale, Euclid,
right, all these white names, Greek gods, and all that. So recognizing my own miseducation and not seeing
that stolen legacy.
Yes. So that was disturbing for me. And then another book was by Ida B. Wells. It's recent. Ida B. Wells, Red Record. When you're reading about, okay, I know we was enslaved. I don't like to say slavery. I like to say enslavement because we was enslaved skilled laborers. We wasn't dogs or animals, right? So when I'm reading her book and she's describing how we were lynched, right? So they would lynch a black person and then they would fill their body with bullets, which is crazy to me. And then she described another lynching where a man was lynched and they took he wasn't dead. They just strapped him up to a wooden pole or something, and they got a hot iron rod and started at his feet, boiling hot, and then just slowly, inch by inch, burning them from head to toe, well, from toe to head. So that disturbed me a lot, right? Then it was a father and he had 2 kids. They lynched his kids in front of him, filled their body with bullets, and made him watch. Then they did the same thing to him. So that's crazy.
Good call, Ladarius.
Those 2 are the most disturbing for me. Recognizing my miseducation and then recognizing how our people suffered during those times. So
good call. Thanks for bringing that to the front.
I don't know who want to go next and ask the question. I can ask the next question.
I wanted to get this in before the time run out, man. I said it a little bit off the camera, but it's time for it to be on camera, right? So we all see these videos going around the nation, TikTok, you name it, showing middle school, high school, even adult people not being able to read a paragraph, right? Not being able to look at sight words, not being able to say something phonetically. And even whenever they could read it, not being able to comprehend what they just read. We're all writers in this group. The question I have for y'all is, how do you feel as a writer knowing that we try to go in with the scholarship, right? We try to go in, we try to do research, there are all these ideas and schemes and setups and afterword, forward, footnote, index, to realize the gulf is that wide between what we're trying to execute versus how bad the literacy is. How do you feel whenever you see that question?
Who want to go first? Or I can try to tackle it up. I mean, it makes me feel sad, man. It makes me feel like the next generation is definitely in trouble, man, because we can't comprehend. We can't read, right? So when we can't read and we can't comprehend, there's a lot of things that people can do that can get over us because we can't understand things. We can't read things, right? And again, going back to what I was saying earlier, that a lot of it has to do with, like, some of us think that this internet, and these smartphones is the best thing smoking, since sliced bread. But I believe that these things is supposed to be evolving us. I believe that these things are devolving us, right? So it is devolving us in a way where, it's dimming our intellect. Um we can't comprehend, we can't understand, we don't want to read, right? Like you saying, there's so many children out there, it's not funny. And I'm not even saying children, there's grown people that can't read. And then those who can read can't comprehend the things that, that they're reading. So for me, a lot of people that may not know, I've been doing this for a long time. So a lot of my books in the beginning, before I came to Instagram, was 300-400 page books. And a lot of people know me now for like doing self-help, motivational, and inspirational writings. But I started out because I'm a historian. I'm independent historian, right? So all of my books has been on history. It has been on our culture, has been on our tradition, has been on the horrendous things that has happened that I have shared in multiple books that I have written. 300-400 page books, like Sean said, with the footnotes, index, all those things being scholarly, right? So I realized that these things were happening where we was devolving, where people can't comprehend and we don't want to read at all. So now we got to figure out a way on what we need to do to try to help with the comprehension level. So a lot of times now we're writing books that's 100 page. You people poke their chest out. Used to poke their chest out because they got a 300-400 page book. That used to impress me, but that don't impress me anymore. Right, because I understand the times that we living in, so we can't have. And I'm speaking to people who still think that the way that I used to think and write the way that I used to write, we can't write like that anymore. We gotta, because we're not in those times no more. We grew up off the Dr. Benz, the John Henry Clark, the H.E. Hilliard, the Chancellor Williams, the Shekonte Dr. All of these people, and these people wrote scholastically, right? You know what I'm saying? But we can't write in that manner anymore because the times has changed. While people is not reading, people general is not reading. People can't comprehend anymore. So now we just got to figure out a way of making it simple and plain. And that's what we do when we write our books. We making it simple and plain where it's not going over your head. A baby can read your book, and we making the page count lesser because that also gives a person an opportunity to read the book, even though a person may feel like the subject matter may touch them, but they don't want to read. But if they look at it and the page count ain't 200 or 300 pages, it won't intimidate them. They may give it a try and try to read the book. So we just have to figure out a way in our end. We just have to continue to figure out ways on how can we make it cool. Make it interesting for our people to say, hey, I want to read. I want to be able to understand the things that I'm reading. I want to be able to share what I've learned with other with other people, right? So, and I'll just end it. I'll end it right there.
I mean, it definitely tugs the heartstrings when you consider the fact that people can't read a paragraph, or they don't, if they can read the words, they don't understand what it means. And as an author, it makes me want to make the books that I write writing a title, page, what the page looks like, if it has color to it, if there are like things that are changing on the page, just to kind of help people, help get their attention and help keep their attention. And then the font, one thing I appreciate about the books now, especially that I've been able to tap in with y'all, is the font. Because a lot of these older books, the font's so tiny. Like imagine this book is over 1,000 pages. The font.
They got that number at number 8 font, number 6.
You see what I'm saying? And people don't get turned off. They get turned off. And then too, I want to talk about that too from like a community educator standpoint. When I see that, it makes me want to get involved. There's a lady that I'm helping right now. She's trying to fill out some paperwork, and you know, for her health, and she was getting denied. And then finally she was like, they're making me redo the paperwork. So I was like, cool, let me see it. And so when she brought it to me, it's tricky. Like the way people ask questions, and even in the documents, formal documents, like when you're applying for Social Security, or you're applying for disability, or you're applying for, you know, some type of assistance, the way they ask you the questions can be tricky and manipulative. So if you can't read a paragraph, you know, you definitely ain't going to be able to really get down and figure out how to answer these questions. And you kind of got to know psychology to know how to answer them, because they will definitely use your words against you in all these, you know, in these organizations and corporations. So it makes me want to get active and be involved. And so like now I can come in as support. Like, okay, this is how we're going to answer this, because that comprehension, my comprehension is on a different level. So to your point, Sean, you know, as far as an author, we have responsibility, but also as a community member, we have a responsibility. Like, okay, help these people out, especially the elders. They ain't, you know, they don't even know what you're talking about when you're talking about it a lot of times. So, like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So be hands-on and like help the people out when it comes to like reading and understanding. And you know they got something coming up, or you know they got, you know, an appointment or whatever. Like help them read and understand what the questions are asking. Even simple stuff as like, don't leave anything blank in the instructions, and then they go to the paperwork and want to skip shit. You can't do that, you know. So, but they don't get it. So, good call, Sean P. Right there.
Yeah, good question. Go ahead.
So when I watch those videos on Instagram and they can't pronounce like simple words like premonition or deity, silhouette, for me it confirms the maintenance of white domination, right? So Dr. Amos Wilson talks about this, and I'll post the name of the book in the chat. But he says education is a type of conditioning. It not only creates skills, it creates character, right? It creates certain perceptions, certain habits, certain way you see yourself, right? And if you since they can't read, right, they are cut off from certain opportunities, right? They're cut off from certain opportunities, then they are cut off from a certain mentality, right? So Dr. Amy Wilson says it's not just about, oh, you can't read, you can't get this job. No, they are robbing you of your mind, your soul, your resources, everything, because power is associated with language, like
bro.
Dr. Wade just said. So if we can't read, if we can't write, we have no power, and they stay in power.
Yeah, and look how the game's so slick, right? You went to high school graduation, and certain kids getting full scholarships and whatnot, right? We had one time whenever a guy got on the microphone, and they said, "Look, so many more kids could have had scholarships. They didn't even come fill the paperwork out. They had scholarships available, but you won't even go down to read the paperwork and fill it out. You could have had so many more things accessible to you, and the powers that be know that. So they can play it like, man, it's not our fault. They ain't fill the paperwork out. They put it on the wall, and they can say, hey, we had it posted, we had it on the door, we had it on the wall. You know them kids about to stop and read that stuff and going, they ain't going to do that. So they keep their hands clean. Like, hey, we had it available to y'all. Y'all didn't take advantage of it. They ain't our fault. Come on, man.
This pissed me off too, because I was talking with one of my friends. He went to HBC. He went to NCAT, and I was like, "How did you get to North Carolina A&T?" He was like, "Bro, we had a college fair," and I'm like, "I grew up in Georgia. We didn't have no. I went to a predominantly black high school in my city, and we didn't have a college fair. Only thing we had was
the military.
In the bathroom, every day, all branches. Come serve your country." And you know, I was like, damn, that shit crazy. So they really want to create. I mean, you can look at the military as another, like, I don't want to, like another slave system almost, right?
Say it. Go ahead, say it.
You know, it's contractual. You can't.
Yeah.
If you go AWOL, you go into jail.
Yes, you are.
Now your labor gonna be leased for cheap.
I damn did it.
So it's all a game. So Dr. Amos Wilson also said, like, if they want to control you, then they will create certain conditions of living that they put you under, and those conditions live inside of you.
But again, even in the military,
you're gonna have slum behavior. You're gonna go and create more slums wherever you go. So,
bro, even in the military,
you go somewhere else to another community. Oh, we ain't finna read. We finna.
Yeah.
You're gonna create non-reading communities. So,
yeah. Even in the military sense, right? I'm more than sure that 90% of us went down there to go sign up that day. You got all the paperwork to sign off on. You just signing and initialing, dating, signing. You're not sitting there reading all of those things. None of us are. You hand over your heart, raising your hand to that flag and all that. You have no idea what you're signing up for, but you're not taking the time to read it or comprehend what's even in this thing, man. You're just going with the okie doke, and they know that. And you finally get where you got to go. You get shipped over here, and somebody gonna tell you this. They say, "Oh man, that's not your paperwork." Your recruiter promised you and your mama this, your grandmother, but you ask for paperwork, man. It says this and this. You be like, "What?" But you already locked in. It's over.
You locked in because you wanted to drive. You wanted to drive a Hellcat or a Camaro or a Benz. That's why I joined, bro. I just wanted to.
Yeah.
Now you stuck.
And it's crazy. I was just talking to my dad the other day. So I wish I would have been my dad's dad, like my pawpaw. Like I wouldn't. Me and my dad didn't have like a cool relationship. I love my dad to death, but he wasn't around a lot. So I wasn't around my granny on his mother and his father, my papa, just briefly when his sister, my Aunt Linda, used to come get me. So my grandmother and my papa, my granny and my papa did a lot. So so next month this month we're doing a banquet, and this banquet is the Walter Buddy Award, and we got people in the community to pick fathers who represent that same characteristic that my father had. I mean, not my father, but my papa had. There's so many people know my papa and the things that he did in the community and what type of man he was. And so my father, so I put the application and stuff together for him. Then we double backed and said, doing that, we wanted to do a scholarship, because I do a scholarship in Africa. So I do a scholarship at the Gaia Journal Skills Academy in Gambia every year, where I send two people to go to school at the Gaia Journal Skills Academy. So my dad was like, why don't you do that for this one, and let's do a scholarship around here. So I created, what I did with them was certain things that they would have to fill out the application, certain criteria that the parents had to meet in order to get qualified for it. And the students had to write an essay, and they had to do a form of something else, why they feel like they deserve that. So we didn't have that many people. So my dad came to me. I just got the stuff. So my dad thought that we was going to have applications just pouring out of our yin yang. And I was going to have to go cipher through all of these and read all of these, look at the applications, look at the qualifications, read the essay, read why they deserve this. I forgot what I called it. And so we don't have a lot. So there's an opportunity for people to get a scholarship, but nobody wants to fill out the application. Nobody want to write about the essay, the things that we require. Nobody want to write about why they feel like they deserve.
Yes, a short essay.
Y'all just
500 words.
275
words.
250. It was 250 words. I made it simple. 250 words. Right. So my dad was like so disappointed. I said, we just gonna move forward with what we got. We only have a handful. So my work is, I don't have to do a whole lot of work when I present it. I don't have to go through all of this and then decide out of 20 or 30 people. So there's an opportunity, but y'all just answer the question on why. My dad, when he asked that question, why? Because he was so disappointed. And that goes back to what, Ladarius was just talking about, a while ago, and you elaborated on, man. So, I'm gonna let my dad look at that. I'm gonna clip this and let him look at that. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all kind of gave a more concise answer than I did. You know what I'm saying?
I did an event about 8 years ago called Black Gents Rock, right? And there's some scholarships and everything going on. And once again, a person on the microphone said, look, at Southern University for the agriculture program, it was all these free scholarships. And I told y'all all year long, come down here and sign this and that. And apparently the kids didn't do it. But that was more than one time I've seen a person say on the microphone at a big old event, this was available. So that means for a whole school year, certain things wasn't taken advantage of evidently.
That's crazy, man. Like it's crazy, man. But man,
I appreciate the point that the transformative part, I think people miss that. People think reading is just reading because you want me to read. They don't understand, like Ladarius was saying, and Sean, the transformative pieces of it, like the possibilities of reading. It can take you way past just filling out a form. Those are things that are important, especially with scholarships. But like, I appreciate being locked in with y'all because we have changed. Even these few years that we've been on a podcast, we've changed. So I'm looking forward to digging more into our transformation pieces, because I love that we can transition from talking about the on the ground things to actually like really expanding how we've grown from reading. And I hope people out there can share this with their friends, family, nieces, and nephews, everybody, so they can see like, hey, look, this can change your life. Reading can really change you and really help you evolve for real.
And hold on,
can y'all share like one aspect of how reading has changed you, or what have you learned and applied from reading?
Good question. So I'll go first. So first, like, and I've been doing so many different other things, and I've been wanting to put out another brand, right? And I'm glad we're talking about it, because now it's motivated me, because I was supposed to have this out like 2 months ago, actually. And so it's books not only informed me, it transformed me, right? So that's the brand, right? Books not only inform me, it transformed me, right? So books transform me. Books changed my life. Book changed my perspective. Books changed my worldview. And it impacted me in a way where it gave me self-confidence. Me reading, when I became an avid reader, it enhanced my confidence. I didn't have confidence like I have confidence now. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have the determination that I have like I have now. I didn't have the love that I have for my people if it wasn't for reading now, because we always been taught that we were savages, we was beasts, we was backwards people, you know what I'm saying? Until I started reading and understanding, we talk about Pythagoras, Thales, Euclid, we talk about the Hippocratic oath, but we don't talk about where these people went and learned from. Who did they observe, right? Who created some of these things when we talk about some of these mathematical equations, these mathematical formulas, right? It enhanced me so much that where I love my people so much that I know that we are brilliant people. I didn't think that we was that brilliant, you know what I'm saying? But we are brilliant people. But it also gave me a sense of respecting nature, right? So I respect everything in nature because I am a part of nature. So I don't think that I am above nature, because when I read that some of our ancestors learned how to build from looking at ants and termites. building mud brick. When we talk about the first mud brick structures, we looked at these animals in nature on how they build, and then we started creating our own, right? So I've learned so much from reading, where it has, like I said, where it has transformed me, where I have a love for myself, I have a love for my people, I have appreciation for life. I have appreciate the sacrifices that has been made for us, so I don't take that lightly on the things that our ancestors died and fought for us to have some of these so-called liberties and you know. So it truly transformed me into becoming an avid reader, becoming a scholar, becoming a better human being. I'll just leave it like that. It transformed me to become a better human being.
Whew, I don't know how to follow that one.
Oh, my bad. Y'all burnt up, man. Y'all is burnt up.
Oh. But I will say, to add on what you already said, it's going to be tough. But so speaking from experience, reading has changed my thinking, right? And in my thinking, my thoughts have attracted people, opportunities, and other stuff. So when I started reading, I got on Instagram Live, and I saw Sean P on Instagram Live. I didn't know who he was, but he mentioned the book that I was reading at the time. And I DM'd him. That was 5 years ago, right? So I'm reading, I'm talking to Sean every day. I'm seeing what Sean doing. He on Instagram Live almost every day. Every day I'm seeing this. I'm seeing it. At the same time, this is when I started reading leisurely. And then I got the confidence from reading this book called ISIS Papers. Dr. Francis Cress Wilson said, you need to recognize the need for educational achievement. So I'm like, okay, I'm working at this Ivy League school. I have a benefit package where I can get a master's degree for free. I might as well do it. So the first class I took was called Borders and Boundaries. I went in that class with so much confidence because I read Know Thyself before I started. I had a base foundational knowledge of who I was. So when I walked into that class, I wasn't scared to speak about white supremacy the way I do, or, you know, call it out, challenge it, you know, and write a paper on the power of miseducation and point the finger. Because, you know, the class was mostly white, but, you know, and raising my voice in the discussion posts. So it gave me confidence as you were speaking, as you were saying. Then on top of that, so then Kofi came, Dr. Wade came, they all on Instagram Live. Because for me, back then, like, public speaking was something that I dreaded, you know what I'm saying? So after seeing you guys, communication skills on 100, it gave me the confidence to break out of my shell and then come on to be a co-host, right?
And
you're
now
doing
look
a great
at
job.
look at it. Look at
You're doing a great job too, brother.
Fantastic job.
So that's the power of reading, right? That's the power of reading. It can change your thoughts. It can attract people. It can attract experiences. It can give you opportunities to grow. So that's why I try to instill in my cousins and my family members, like, why are you reading all these books? You see what I'm saying? So I appreciate y'all for that.
We appreciate you too, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I would say for me, man, I have a very submersive personality, meaning whatever I'm interested in, I submerge myself 1,000%. When I was a ball playing dude, I'm wearing basketball attire 7 days a week. When I was a fitness person, I'm in fitness attire 7 days a week. And then when I became a more scholarly book person, man, like where I decided to go on my free time transformed. I don't want to go to the club in the hookah lounge and it's filled with smoke and filled with loud. I want to go to the bookstore. I want to go to the poet spot. I want to go to the Lego place, get some Lego, get some puzzle. I want to go where it's more relaxed environment, more, people on the same wavelength, intellectual wise. I want to be in those kind of places. I want to conduct, dress, and present myself in a way different fashion, physically, based on what I learned reading all these books and studying these scholars. And, once again, even myself, believe it or not, I'm a naturally shy person. All my classmates in school, from kindergarten through high school, I was not a very outgoing, loud. I was not that person.
I call Cap.
Flag on the play, huh?
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I wasn't reading, I didn't have anything to say. I had nothing to talk about. But the more I read books on vast topics, now you can't shut me up. I don't care what it is, science, animals, dinosaurs, the cosmos, plants, whatever, we can talk about. Government, religion, because I read so many things vastly, I have more things to be able to have a conversation with somebody, right? So the confidence came from what I ingested in the dark. Now when I come to the light, it seemed like there's someone know this, and that. I was up till 4 a.m. reading on that. And the money I would spend on Jordans and basketball shoes, I'm buying books. Money I would spend on certain things in the past, I'd rather buy books versus buying the latest name brand. I don't care about that no more. I feel like this in myself is more important than on the outside. It's what's in you, not what's on you, right? So I don't care about name brands and the latest fashion. I don't care about following that. But whenever I speak, though, you're gonna know. You know what I'm saying? So I put it to you like that.
No, they tripping on you, though,
transformation.
Yes, transformation. Yeah.
Oh man, I was shy, bro. Like back in the class, like.
Hey, no way, man.
I'm telling you, bro.
What you were doing, Charles?
So you want to add something? Someone come up, back in the old days, someone come up to the class and read paragraphs.
I got a question. I got a question for you. Because I'm an introvert, right?
Yeah, I am too.
Hanging with y'all, you know what I'm saying?
No, you're not.
You know.
Kaepernick.
So my question is, so I'm an introvert. I can say I'm shy too, but at the same time, I guess it depends on the environment. So if we in class, you ask me to get up in front of the class and give a presentation. No. But if it's a basketball game or a football game, I'm loud. I want you to see me. You see what I'm saying? So I think it's kind of like, am I shy intellectually? Or what is that? You see what I'm saying?
I think if it's a term, if it's a real term, I think it's like being like selective introvert, right? Because even my middle son is like that. For the most part, he to himself, he could quiet, he go observe everything, right? But with his people and with his squad, he will cut up on top of the table, you name it. But it's very selective in who he turn up with. I know other folks like that as well. But then when they're in the right setting,
I'll wear the t-shirt. Kobe, put that on the shirt.
Yeah,
I'll wear the t-shirt.
I like that term. I like selective because I like that term. I like that.
So you saying it's like it's behavior, like you are practicing shy behavior in the classroom, but when you on the sports team, you on that court, on that field, I'm ready.
For me now, I'm an all the time extrovert. I don't care where I'm at. I don't care what setting. You can drop me off on Mars. If I find somebody, we gonna talk. I never know a stranger, as they say. I don't care where I'm at. We gonna talk. Black, white, Republican, atheist, whatever you are, we can converse. I pride myself on that. But that's all the time. It doesn't change with me. You know what I'm saying?
And speaking of behavior, that is how books and reading transformed me. It helped me understand what I was doing behavior-wise and help guide that transformation into the confident person that you see. We got some new work coming down the pipeline regarding confidence. So confidence and behavior is such an important topic. I'm glad that y'all brought that in the chat. This book right here is one of the first ones that helped me learn about behavior and my behavior. Set boundaries, find peace, a guide to reclaiming yourself.
Yes, yes, yes,
Early in
yes.
the game. Now, I was in certain situations, so I couldn't really flex once I learned how to have boundaries, but just breaking down what that even means. Boundaries, healthy boundaries, unhealthy, like all of that is a behave. You have to learn how to behave. You got to learn how to interact with people. I think that's where we get tied up a lot in our interpersonal relationships. We don't know how to behave around each other. You see what I'm saying? So behavior, my confidence grew, my confidence changed because my personal behavior changed, how I understood things changed. Another one, it's called It Didn't Start With You: How Inherited Family Trauma Shapes Who We Are and How to End the Cycle. This book right here was written so well, and it actually started me on the trajectory to connect with my late grandmother, who you guys see me post about from time to time. But again, a lot of our families have trauma, real. I mean, sometimes things that they couldn't control. Family members passing away. My folks, my mom and her sister, they lost their mom at a young age. So the way that they behave, the way that they express or not certain things, has really affected the later generation. So just learning how to behave, learning how to process things, really kind of helped me shape my own psychology, my personal psychology, before I even made it to my cultural psychology. So that behavior piece really helped me be such a grounded person, a thoughtful person, and especially somebody that's empathetic. Speaking for the women out there, it helps you learn how to contain yourself. You don't have to fix everybody. You don't have to give everybody all the tea. You do have to reserve you for yourself a lot. And that's why this right here is on my list of like top self-help books. And it's written by a Black woman. So that's a therapist. That's another conversation we're going to get to. We talk about Dr. Brian, everybody's certifications and stuff like that. But she's a therapist. And this really just kind of put me on a certain path. This was early in my my conscious development. This was this book right here. So I was not even near the person that you see 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I was a totally different person. So how you see this presentation right here has a lot to do with a lot of the development in books that these guys were talking about, but also like personal, development that kind of brought that to the forefront of what I was paying attention to and how I needed to grow from the inside out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Talk about transform.
Yes.
So I'm gonna be a little vulnerable. So like, say if with the books you just mentioned, sorry. So I grew up in a single parent home, right? I've noticed from my father to my father's father to maybe even his father, it's kind of like a generational deadbeat situation going on, right? And then I have first cousins that have lost their father recently. And it's kind of like, bro, your father's still, they keep telling me, your father's still here. You can, I'm like, bro, it ain't on me. It's not on me. You understand what I'm saying? So like, what I'm trying to say is like, reading can have you confront your childhood trauma.
Yes, sir.
And then it kind of like, well, maybe I should just be the bigger person and be like,
yes. Or that's what I was gonna say.
But then sometimes I'll be like, oh, I ain't doing it. Right? It ain't my job.
What? I'm in the same exact spot. The phone worked both ways.
Exactly. I mean,
if I was still 10 years old, 9 years old, maybe, but at this big old age, if I want that relationship, it's gonna be on me to take that phone and scroll.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But it also,
it's on us.
But it teaches you how to behave around that, because you don't have to change that. That ain't on you. You can learn how to behave around that and how to transform yourself around that, so you don't carry some of the hurt, resentment, all those things. You can further develop yourself past that. And it may be a point in life where you are the bigger person and you do revisit, but it may give you the strength to be like,
That's what I was going. So
I'm good.
like, yeah. So
I'm
like,
all right.
so,
I can be all right without this.
yes. So I was like, what I was about to say. So like social media, right? So they love Facebook. All the old head, they love Facebook. Get on there. So on Facebook, he the greatest granddaddy of all. He the granddaddy of the year. Like he'll post pictures of me and my kids and that. So my boundary was, you haven't met my kids. My son just turned 6 this past weekend. My daughter turns 4 in July. You have never met them. So my boundary was, I'm gonna unfollow you on Facebook and don't post my kids no more. You know what I'm saying? I had to have a real conversation with myself. And like, you know what I'm saying? I had to have a real conversation with myself. And like, if something happened to him, would I feel? How would I feel? So I'm giving myself, reading can also give you self-therapy. So I'm like, how would I feel if he,
Correct.
How would I feel?
It's a great question. It's a great question.
Like, I kind of wouldn't feel any type of way. It may sound bad. Well, like, kind of
No, it's real.
You know what I'm saying?
It's real.
Yeah.
Set your boundary, find peace.
Yeah, because I have an uncle, so he has 2 brothers, right? And I have a conversation with my uncle all the time. They look just alike. And he told me he going through the same thing, but he was like, I had my baby mama on even if my son didn't want to talk to me, I told her to put me on speakerphone, and I call him every day. Like, my dad didn't do that. He ain't call every day. When I do talk to him on the phone, he quick to get off. You see what I'm saying? So I was like, I have made peace with it, right?
You know,
that's what reading would do. It'll have you.
You know something else too for us guys in the chat, us guys on the line. Mm-hmm. A lot of us, we have read way more than our fathers and grandfathers ever have.
Mm-hmm.
We have acquired certain skills those men weren't afforded the ability to have. And not to make excuses, we're not going to excuse nothing, but we're going to account for, we probably know more than a lot of what they know. We surpassed them education-wise for damn sure. We probably accomplished more than they've accomplished. A lot of us on this chat, we're the first ones in the family to ever publish a book or write a book or graduate a certain school or start a business or at least try starting. Like, we're way different guys than those guys. But we expect so much from those guys.
Mm-hmm.
If all they have is this, that's all they got. I can't expect nothing more from my dad than this. Yeah. That's all that man had.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. And guess what? The same thing for me and my kids. I can only give them what I got. So they might grow up some years. Man, Sean ain't shit. He ain't do this, and that. All I had was this. And I gave it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
But so that also goes to show, Sean P., that it's up to the individual to grow. So again, to our point, we're talking about transformation. It's up to the individual, because they don't, even if you have that little bit that Sean just showed you, even if you have that, one thing that you can't quantify necessarily is effort. So even if you don't have blah, 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 resources, knowledge, understand, blah, blah, effort.
And guess what? I pride myself on that.
Okay, now we done
changed the things, but effort is free.
We ain't even made it to accountability. We talking about
effort is free.
And if
you can always say, boy, Sean tried his ass off, boy. He ain't made it, but he tried.
But if you ask that person, hey, will you go whatever, and if it's something that they want to do, they're gonna go hard body with that little. With the little bit that they're gonna go full out hard body. So again,
and that little bit is money too.
Okay.
They're not gonna remember everything you bought them. They're gonna remember the time you spent with them. Yeah.
There's a quote that I like to refer to. It's called "No life is without conflict." Yeah, somewhere there's talking about no life is without conflict. So every single life is gonna be with conflict somewhere. Even the new babies, we want them to have a perfect situation. Every life is gonna have conflict. So it's up to each individual to find the responsibility to give what they can if they care about the relationship or if they care about anything. So it's up to us now. And I do, to Sean's point, appreciate the fact that we have all these new authors that we're tapping into, or we got all these things that we can read and we found value in them. And my hope is that we can influence people to find value in personal development, whether that's culture, personal, even with your kids. All these relationships matter. And even like our relationship, we low-key got a better family dynamic than our blood.
Yes.
I
Come
told
on,
y'all
man.
more than I told them all.
Yeah, come on, man.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
again, just reshaping what's important. And if relationships are important, then it's up to everybody to put in and develop the relationship. Even in interpersonal relationship, marriages, all that stuff, it's up to each person to develop on their own. So that when you come together, then you can really mesh and you can grow.
But I want to say book-wise, transformation-wise, the people I've met in the book community over the past 10, 15, whatever years, people I've never met in person have looked out for me more than a lot of people I went to school with, people that's blood, people that's whatever, people I've never met in person have looked out for me and whatever over the years, way more than anybody else. And I love that about the book community. I love that. A lot of negative things get said about the book community. I love that aspect of the book community. I met some solid A1 people in the book community.
And I'm going to take 2 seconds to, this is a book that I needed. I wrote it, but I needed to find out why I respond the way I respond. Because I think a lot of people don't even take the time to think, why am I like this? You know, if I'm so disconnected from my family, I'm disconnected from my sons. Why am I like that? Why am I disconnected? So journaling too, when it comes to that, giving us an opportunity to just kind of like get some thoughts on the paper, because people are holding a lot. And the empath in me wants to help and But instead of going to therapy, because people need therapy, I'm gonna say that, and everybody needs to go. But if they're not ready, they need to be able to tap in with the therapist that's talking. And tap in with the people that's holding space so they can get somewhere instead of being stuck. I mentioned that word earlier. A lot of our community people are stuck. That just is what it is. And we can only have responsibility for what we can control. So we can't control everybody. We can influence them. We can encourage them. But there's no way we can. It just kind of takes that fixer out. And a lot of women end up in that fixer mentality because they don't have no goddamn on their empathy, or they don't even understand empathy. So transformation,
there is a workbook that goes with that book too. So just put that out there. There is a workbook to that book. Yeah, get
and
that.
She has other books. There's one that's called Drama Free, and it's talking about families. It's in the TBR.
No doubt. So let's get into the woman segment. We done ran out of time. Let's get into the woman segment. We might have to do a part 2 on this, man, because the time done flew by so fast, man. Like for real, it don't flew by. So we'll turn it over to Dr. Ashley Wade. She's going to bring it on home for us with one of my favorite segments of the podcast, and that is the woman segment.
Man, I appreciate y'all for letting me run it for real. I space to talk about, especially this women's segment, is so important. Even just space to run it with y'all is something that I'm grateful for on a regular basis. But I want to talk about the author that I mentioned here that wrote this book that helped to transform my life. Her name is Nadra Glover Tawwab. I'll put it in the chat in a minute. But Nadra is a licensed therapist and the author of Set Boundaries, Find Peace, an instant New York Times bestseller translated into over 35 languages worldwide. In addition, she has authored 7 other books, including Drama Free, which I have on the shelf, I ain't read it yet, and most recently, The Balancing Act. With more than 2.5 million followers across her social media, she is a highly sought after relationship expert. Okay. She was also included on the Time 100 list of most influential people in global health. Let's see. She's the founder and owner of Kaleidoscope Counseling, a group therapy practice. Every day helps individuals create healthy relationships by teaching them how to set boundaries. Her philosophy is that a lack of boundaries and assertiveness underlies most relationship issues. And her gift lies in helping people cultivate healthy relationships about themselves and others. She's appeared as an expert on the Today Show, The Breakfast Club, Good Morning America, and CBS Morning Show, to name a few. Her work has been highlighted in the New York Times, The Guardian, The Washington Post, and she's appeared on numerous podcasts, including We Can Do Hard Things, the Oprah Podcast, and 10% Happier. They say she lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I wanted to highlight her specifically because there's a lot of talk about Dr. Bryant's credentials. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Dr. Bryant, even though I fool with her work. I fool with how she communicates with people. But I did want to highlight Dr. Tawwab here. She's an amazing, and her books are so easy to read. And I appreciate that she holds space for relationship growth. And I'll leave it like that. So this is Nadra Glover Tawwab, Set Boundaries, Find Peace. And give me just a second. Let me show her. Give me 30 seconds. This is the second book that they talked about, A Guide to Managing Unhealthy Family Relationships.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. So gone are the days is that's your mama and that's your daddy. And you got to We are managing unhealthy family relationship. This is where we are.
Because you old or you ain't an elder. All right.
Okay. Okay.
I'm definitely.
So
I'm
much love and flowers to Dr. Tawwab. Check out her work for sure.
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna text you, Dr. Wade. I'm gonna buy both of those books today. I'm gonna get both of those books today. Might not
like
get
I
around
need to do
to
the benediction, like the altar call, like.
Yeah, I'm definitely got to get
work,
those.
She good. She good.
I'm gonna try to make some time like August, but I want to get them now. And then make some time August and try to break one of them open and then get in there because we got quite a few projects to read right now. So I want to do that later on. Most
and
definitely.
I love that for us.
So let's give it up, man, for the Griots Podcast.
Another great show in the book, man, in the can. What number is that? I lose count. What number is that? Season 4, episode 5?
5. I thought it was 4 because I had to go back and change my post when I seen it. I said, wait a minute. 4? We at 5. I said, dang, I ain't think we was at 5. But yeah, they flying. So we at season 5. So season 4, episode 5. Episode 5. So yes, I definitely, man, enjoyed this. I knew this was gonna be a great conversation.
For anybody watching up to this point, so next month we're doing Sky Full of Elephants, right?
Yes, sir.
So our audience can know. If you haven't got the book yet, you want to follow along with us to be able to chime into the chat and be active with us. Sky Full of Elephants, the next episode. So go ahead and get it. Read up. You got a whole month to be able to catch up, to be able to comment into the chat and take part in the conversation, man.
I like how you dunked on the end of the show, Sean P.
Yeah. I gotta find my book,
that
man.
Throw and kill that. Ooh, and that gorilla dog. Ooh. Still got it. I still got it.
I got it somewhere. I got it somewhere.
That's the Chattanooga. Ooh.
Yeah.
Tallahassee. Shameless plug, man. Shameless plug.
Appreciate y'all for tapping in. That was good. We cut up on a regular basis.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yes, indeed, man. We appreciate everybody that tuned in and watched the show. You know, gave your feedback. You know what I'm saying? We greatly appreciate that. We greatly appreciate your time. You could have been doing anything else, but you tuned in to the Griots Podcast with some of the most intelligent host on the planet, you know.
That's for a date, Kobe. It's the last Sunday of the month in June.
Yes. Last Sunday of the month in June. Yes. The Griots Podcast is always the last Sunday of every month. We do one episode at the end of every month. He just put it in there, June 29th. So if you want to be a part of the conversation,
28.
Huh?
The 28th. My bad.
Oh, the 28th. The 28th. So that's on a Sunday.
Last Sunday of the month. Sky Full of Elephants.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to
His
start.
next book coming out like next year, by the way, too. So man, definitely go ahead and read that, get out the way, because the next one coming up.
Yeah.
Don't be 2 books behind, man. So go ahead and get that.
Yeah. Yep. I'm finna start tapping in tomorrow. I'm gonna break it open tomorrow, start tapping in so I can go ahead and chunk at it and get it done. You know what I'm saying, for the podcast, because it took 28 to be here before you know it. It'll be here before you know it.
So will next weekend.
Yeah.
that little email goes. I see a couple little email. I be like, God damn it! I'll be at work like, God damn it! It's time for it already.
I sent you the file last night. I don't know if you got the link. I sent the link last night. I don't know if you.
Yeah, most definitely. But all right, y'all, we out of here, man. Again, we appreciate y'all, man. Peace, power. Y'all have a great evening.